We're going to start here in the front row, Tim May. All righty, we're going to start here in the front row with Tim May.
Hey, Ryan, did y'all get what you wanted out of this game? I know you got to watch video and all that kind of stuff. It kind of went the way everybody expected it.
Yeah, we wanted to, like we talked about, be more explosive. You saw us play with tempo. That was good. The issues are always going to be there. It's just a matter of identifying what they are. There's no secret this was not a matchup game, and I got a lot of respect for Coach. And I thought, their team played hard in this game. They were outmatched, talent-wise for sure. And I think he expressed that. But I give them a lot of respect for playing hard and playing for 4 quarters all the way to the end. And so a lot of credit to how hard they played. But I thought early in the game it was good to get the ball pushed down the field. I thought Julian really had some accurate throws. The ball came out on time. The spacing and timing was good. The protection was good. Good to see the defense get some turnovers because that was an emphasis point for us to attack the ball. So we'll take a look at the film, and we've still got a lot of work to do. We're in a race to get better, and that's it. So, but I do think coming out of it, there was a lot of good things coming off of last week. Just, it was heavy, big groupings and running and huddling. This was a little bit more spread out and tempo, which it's good to know that we can do both.
Spencer Holbrook.
What did you learn about him in that first half and the accuracy that he displayed? Do you think that's a step forward for him?
It is what when you watch the plays. There were some plays where I felt like we had guys, pretty open, and there was other throws that, it was pretty contested throws that I thought he put it on the money. He's one play certainly he wants to have back, but we were, as you could tell, we were pushing the envelope a little bit to see how he would respond and throw those because this is all for the first time for him, and no time for really learning on the job. We got to go. So we pushed the envelope, throwing the ball early and playing faster. So we'll look at it, but you watch it. You watch how quick the ball comes out of his hand, and you watch how accurate. Those were all positives for him.
Austin Ward.
Ryan, I realize this might be too open-ended for you since you haven't seen the film yet. As you leave here tonight, is there someone that you got in the game today that didn't last week that you thought flashed just top of mind?
I think there was a lot of guys that got in there on defense. Riley Pettijohn seemed to pop for sure. That was a big play in the backfield, which was great. Aaron Scott drove on a ball. I know they overturned it, but that was still a great play. You have to look and watch the film some more on offense. It was good to see some of the tight ends get in there, but also see the young running backs run. I thought Bo and Isaiah both ran hard, and it was good to see them, break some tackles and get some positive runs out there. And it was also good, to get Lincoln out there. I thought he looked good out there. He looked poised. He made some nice throws, made a couple runs. And Bryson Rogers made a couple nice plays, I thought, catching the ball and hanging on to it, which was great. Milan had a nice catch. So it was good to see a lot of those guys get on the field, and there'll be a lot of things that, the coaches will look to improve, but they deserve a chance to play, and it's good to get them out there. And the more depth we can build, as we know, it's going to be important. It's a long run this season.
Real quick, before we go to the next question, Jeremiah Smith is going to be in the back here. Dylan Davis, go ahead.
Ryan, I know in the moment you probably didn't want to, I know you didn't want to see it, but as you look back on it now, that pick that Julian threw, is there a party that's glad that it happened just to see how he responds to things like that, to continue to build on the poise that he showed in week 1?
Yeah, you never want to see an interception, but it's good to have some of these learning moments to understand, just how it all works. And when you can get some of these first-time things, behind you, it is good. But that's it. No more interceptions. Not allowed.
All right, we're going to go to the left side here. Bill Rabinowitz and then Cameron Teague Robinson.
Again, the competition wasn't what it was last week, but the defense to have a shutout. What did you learn about the defense today? What were your impressions of how it played?
Well, it was good to get our some of our depth in there. And when you put depth in, sometimes you expect a significant drop off, and that didn't happen, and that was a good sign.
Cameron Teague Robinson and then Rob Aller after that.
Ryan, obviously, kind of like Bill said, you weren't playing the Texas defensive line, but you saw some good runs from James and CJ when they were in there. I know you tried to throw the ball a little more in that first half than maybe you would have, but what did you see from those two in the run game that maybe you didn't see a week ago?
I have to look at the film to see. I thought that everyone was running hard, but what we want to see is we want to see guys breaking tackles and then, creating explosive runs. And I think there were some in there. I think there's some other ones that maybe we can look at to say, okay, how can we do this a little bit better? How can we, break some of these tackles as we're getting to the second level? But when you're a running back, you're not tackled a whole bunch in preseason. So, CJ's probably the most experienced out of the group. Well, he is. And then James, hasn't run a ton in a game, and Bo and Isaiah certainly haven't in college games. So it's going to be great to get on this film and use this as a learning experience.
Go to Rob Aller and then Patrick Murphy.
Yeah, Ryan, you said this is a mismatch. You're right about that. Do you tend in games like this to nitpick maybe even a little more as a coaching staff, because just not so much to keep them from getting big-headed, but just to get after them a little bit?
Well, the issues are always there, and it's not about the result. So if we're looking at the scoreboard, we're looking at the wrong thing. I mean, this is about, like, if we have a discipline issue, or if we have a lack of execution, or we have an assignment issue, or a ball security issue, or a lack of execution, that could, in a matchup game, it comes down to one play. And so if we're going to look at the scoreboard after a game like this, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. That's really bad. I don't think that's the way our guys are. I think they know. And so, when you're not in a matchup game, you're going to get graded very critically, because, when you are in matchup games, one play could cost you. Now, the good thing is we played in a game like that already. So it's not like we haven't done that, where in past, you get to about midway through the season, you haven't played a game like that. I think our guys understand that, especially the guys who have been around. I mean, you think about how we ended last year and how we started this year. I mean, these guys know. But all that being said, when you come out of games like this, you can't get a false sense of security, because the issues are always there. And it's our job to identify them and get them fixed.
Go to Patrick Murphy and then Joey Kaufman.
Ryan, I think coming off of last week, there was a possibility that you guys could be overconfident, come out a little flat maybe. You come out, go right down the field. I know you said overmatched opponent, but how good is it to see the guys take this, like you talked about, and put it on the field? Yeah,
I was looking to see if we had a letdown in practice. I think Tuesday there was a general exhale I was a little concerned about, but I think it was more the physicality of the game than it was guys feeling like we've arrived. I think they know that this is a long, long season. I think our guys look at last year and know that this is, it's a long road all the way to December and January. So we're nowhere where we need to be. I thought Wednesday we came back in an excellent practice. There was good Christmas to it. There was energy to it. And then I thought, our 48 hours leading up to the game was pretty businesslike. So that was a good sign. But like you said, you got to go put it on the field. And regardless of your opponent, you can see good execution. Whether it's, penalties or assignments, spacing, timing. I mean, there's a Christmas to anybody you play. I thought it looked right on the field. We'll have to watch the film and confirm that, though.
Go Joey Kaufman and then to Jeff Gilbert.
You talked a little bit about putting more things on Julian's plate as the season goes along. What sort of things tonight do you feel like you were able to make, or did you feel like you did that today? And what sort of things was it handled maybe this week that it didn't last week?
Yeah, you saw a lot more RPOs. You saw a lot of the things coming out of his hand. We actually started to drive. I think maybe we were inside the 10, 20-yard line where we took a shot early and hit it. Down in the red zone, we were throwing it. We were really forcing the issue down there. And the more we're putting in his hands to manage the game, and I thought he did a nice job. There was one time where they did a nice job on defense of running to a coverage that there was nothing there, and he scrambled and made like 3 yards, 2nd and 7. That's good. That's good football. Didn't throw it into a crowd. I thought the first throw he made for the touchdown to Will was a really good throw. We talk all the time, if the defender's back's turned, he's wide open, and he 1-inched it right over the top of him, and Will made a great catch. But again, the timing, the spacing, all of that was crisp, and so we can build off of that.
All right, 2 more questions. We'll go to Jeff Gilbert, and then final question to Tony Girdman.
Yeah, Ryan, the tight end room has got to be pretty happy. They're getting a lot of balls coming their way. The production of them and just how that opens up everything more for you. What are you seeing there, and how important do you like this?
It can be a weapon for us moving forward. It gives us a lot more flexibility, not only in the run game but also in the passing game, spreading you out, play action, in multiple groupings, which we haven't done as much in the past. We've been mostly 11. We've added 12 here, but now you're seeing us do a little 13, and I think we did 21 today, and so we have probably more flexibility than we've had in the past with these groupings, and they're all athletic. and they all can do multiple things. So that gives us, you know, again, more flexibility. So as we start to build what this team looks like on offense, the tight ends are going to be a big part of it, as you can see.
All right, and last question to Tony Girdman.
You mentioned Riley Pettyjohn. When a guy is playing just a little bit and making plays in a game like this, what can that do in terms of building the confidence or confidence in the coaches and putting him in bigger games?
Yeah, you want to see how guys respond. Typically, you fall back to the level of your training. We talk about that all the time, but you know, we've seen Riley in practice do some really good things, but you want to put him in a game to see how he responds. And when you see him make plays like that, you know, in his first time on the field, it's a great sign for a young player.
All right, Coach, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll bring up Julian Sane,